today we're going to be talking about commission versus booth rent. And I feel like this title is a huge title in the industry. And I think most stylists who come into the industry right out of school, most people actually experience both methods of financial payment based on throughout your career. And sometime in your career, you've been a commission stylist and you've also been a booth rental stylist. So I want to start off with Michelle. And I want you to just introduce yourself to us and just let the audience know exactly who you are and what you've done throughout your career. Just a brief introduction of you, Michelle. Take it away.
I'm Michelle Beamer. I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. I own a salon called Mirror Beauty Spa, and I have been behind the chair since 96. So I spent about 20 years in a commission-based day spa, and then I moved into a loft, became an educator for a hair extension company, and I've been spending the last couple of years building a salon for future beauty professionals. So I spend a lot of time doing hair extensions, strand by strand, hand-tied weft, machine weft. We don't do a whole lot of fusion here, a lot of tape-ins. Also spend a lot of time doing hands-on technique certifications for Dreamcatcher's hair extensions in my salon. We do a lot of custom hair color. We help vocational students get their intern hours. In Ohio, you have to spend your vocational time in your summers in a salon. And so we spend a pretty solid amount of the summer teaching young people how to interact with new customers and helping them bridge that space between salon and beauty school.
What made you find yourself more so in the teaching aspect and mode of owning a salon as opposed to working with stylists who are already pretty much, advanced and further into the industry?
So that's a really great question. I spent 20 years in a high-end day spa, and I started there after I graduated from vocational school. And so I worked there from the time I was an assistant all the way to becoming a directing, educating stylist in their salon. So I have been doing new talent recruitment. I had been sitting on the advisory boards at the local beauty schools for that salon. And so about 2007, I started feeling like I wasn't learning as much when I would go to hair shows. I was more like creating those trends versus like having someone teach me those things. And so I kind of had been doing that already. And so it just kind of felt natural to I learned a lot more after I advanced my licensure to include a teaching certificate, because there's a lot of business and a lot of how to talk to people better and those kinds of things involved in that kind of education where you might not get that as a stylist behind the chair.
Right. Okay. That's cool. I think that's a great aspect to how you own your salon right now, because the kids that are coming out of school right now, they need so much training right out of school. It's almost like some are really starting from scratch, starting all over, learning so much, because of course they only learn the basics in school, but they need so much more training than just the basics. So thank you for sharing that, Michelle. So Miss Aaliyah, can you tell the listening audience a little bit about yourself and what your goals are, what you've been doing in the industry, and just share some love with the audience.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaliyah Prather. My brand name is Aaliyah the Hair Healer. And I started doing hair over 23 years ago. I worked in a commission-based salon for 6 to 7 years. And after that, I went into Salon Suite. So I branded myself as Aaliyah the Hair Healer because I started noticing throughout my career how women were really losing their hair due to different reasons, chemical services, bad protective styles, illnesses, and poor nutrition. So I myself have had health issues as well, and had issues with my hair. So I started to really educate and research about different products, natural products that really help us from the inside out, which is how our hair grows, from the inside out. Everything starts from within. So from there, I really specialize in healthy hair. I also love coloring and cutting as well. Like I said, now I do a lot of natural hairstyles. I start locks, a lot of bride sets. I don't do braids though. I'm not a braider. I was just gonna say I work in Evanston now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at a salon called Studio SLK. It's an African American based salon, but we're multicultural. We're diverse. We have all different clientele.
So I'm going to start with you, Michelle. I would like you to share your perspective on what you feel commission versus booth rent means to you.
Commission versus booth rent. Well, commission is really someone else manages your book, someone else buys your product, someone else pays the bills, someone else carries the insurance, someone else really manages every facet of your business for you. And in return, they give you a paycheck and a life that you can live without the hassles of being your own boss. Booth rent could be a couple of different things. So you could be renting a space of your own, or you could be renting or leasing a chair in a like open concept salon. And so you're responsible typically for everything, paying your own rent, paying your own electricity, water, you're going to have your own products that you are responsible for keeping and selling. You're going to buy your own color. You're going to manage the taxes and the insurance and the everything included in your business. Now, typically you can generally make more money that way, but you're going to be doing a lot of hours behind the scenes that your services aren't gonna, that you're not gonna get paid for. You know, like the front desk girl, she gets paid part of that commission that you make to be answering your phone and to be ringing out your customers and keeping you kind of time efficient. Where like in a booth rental or a suite situation, you're going to be taking on those responsibilities in addition to the service side of providing, guest client like needs. Oh, it's your responsibility and your time. I mean, in truth, like my 20 years in a commission salon, like I got to work part-time and get paid like I was full-time. I got to raise my kids from infancy to graduating high school, like without the hassle of like having to run a business too.
Michelle touched on a lot of points, and so I wanted to give another perspective of the commission and the booth rent. So commission is to me a form of payment rendered by your employer.
Even though you might make more money, you're going to pay for it in your time. And so in a commission salon, you get to keep all your extra time as yours. You get to do the concerts, you get to do the vacations, you get to do the things that you might not be able to do because you got to manage a business, or you're going to be like, I can't go with you because I really got to work this day, instead of like doing the fun. It's really easy when you think that like it's all like yours and you're your boss, but if you're not a good boss for yourself, then like, you know, you might not be as successful as a booth runner as you want to be, because you're going to be really responsible for that, like marketing, for that advertising, for that like figuring out your costs of goods and things, where like an owner in a commission salon's already done that.
Yeah,
you know, I think for me, when I was renting, that was a big learning curve. Like I was super afraid to like spend anything, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to pay taxes, and I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to do that. And I didn't really know walking in like what kind of business I had after 20 years in my commission salon. And so I think like it's really important to spend some time figuring that out also. Like before you jump a salon ship or whatever, you know, like, is your commission scale really fair? Like, you know, as you're progressing, are they giving you something competitive that makes you want to stay? Or, you know, is the culture toxic? There's just so many little things that can affect that.
So Aaliyah, you haven't been a salon owner per se of,
No.
well, actually you are a salon owner, but you're in the aspect of an independent contractor. So you're still a salon owner, but you haven't had a big space where you actually manage people. So what was what's your take on the commissions, working as a commission stylist in a commission structured salon? How did you feel? Did you feel like the owner was taking all your money, or did you feel like she was being fair, she was providing what you needed so that you could grow a decent business?
Yes, the difference is that I realize as a independent contractor, everything is on you. So you may spend a little more money on products and things of that nature, house services, as opposed to a commission-based salon where they're doing everything for you. So I always take that into account. And I also think it depends on the stylist, you know, what you prefer to do. Like, do you mind having all of that responsibility, or do you mind having a little bit more freedom? And that way it kind of balances and weighs out, you know, your finances for you as far as how much you make. I've just recently started working at a commission-based salon because I came back to Chicago with no clients. So for me, that was a better way of building a clientele, and I didn't have to worry about products and all of these things that, you know, financially I wasn't ready for. So the lady that I work for, I think she's very fair. I think she runs a very professional salon. I like that I don't have to really, you know, focus on taking calls all the time and doing other things that distract me from building my clientele. So I just feel like it balanced out for me to work at a commission-based salon, and everybody has different opinions about it. Like, you might have a person that's been in a commission-based salon for a while and has built a clientele, and then they started getting frustrated because they see all the clients they have, all the money they're bringing in, and then they're like, you know what? I probably will do better if I just become an independent contractor and she doesn't have to take half of my money. You know, it just depends on what your mindset is and what you want to accomplish and where you're at in, you know, the industry.
As far as where stylists should start out, what is your opinion on that when they first come out of school? And then Michelle, you can take it away when she's done.
I think that you should work at a commission-based salon. I really do. It helps you learn the business aspect of it, what it all entails, what all the things you need to know how to run the business. You know, you learn all of that. Work with other people. You get to see a different techniques, different things that other people do. You all learn from each other. And it provides structure for the new stylists. because you usually have to be there at a certain time. You have it's like almost like a 9 to 5. And they learn, like, to me, if it's a professional salon, they learn true professionalism when they first get out of school.
So I could not agree more. I think when you're first starting out in the beauty industry, it's definitely going to be of like huge benefit to work in a commission-based salon, or at least like something where you're going to gain some knowledge somewhere, whether it's a beauty supply store or a manufacturing company that's selling product or creating things. But when you're first out of beauty school, they're not all made the same. Like sometimes you're in a school in a place where you have lots of people that you can practice on. But most of the time, at least in my area, the schools around here, they get a lot of technical knowledge, but they don't have time to practice those skills and get really good at them. How to greet people, how to talk to people, what to say, what not to say, discipline for sure. Time management, like that's a big challenge a lot of times, is keeping efficient. So you're not, having your phone to distract you or like where's this or where's that. There's a lot of organization in salons, structure for sure. Training, a lot of times when you're in a commission-based salon, you're going to work under people who have been doing this like all their life. And so they're going to be able to give you tips, tricks, and things that are going to help you develop, professionalism and how to talk to people and how to listen to people, so that you're really doing your best to create something that's in someone's vision, that's, maybe what they feel like they want for themselves. You're going to learn cooperation, and you are going to get to start to see the like marketing of yourself. I mean, most commission salons have some kind of referral structure or advertising budget that they use on a regular to build new stylists and get them really doing good work on a timely place. And that's like a fundamental kind of thing. If you ever want to do your own thing, is to be good at what you're doing and busy enough at what you're doing that you can charge the kind of money it takes to own a space that's your own.
That you get once a week. Usually they take a percentage of the money that you make. So, and they're responsible for your products, your marketing, your scheduling. Also, like she said, the towels, the coloring, they provide you with everything besides your tools. The booth rent is usually a set fee that you pay once a week, but you become more of your own boss. You are responsible for everything, your products, your scheduling, your marketing, and you basically have more responsibilities when you are an independent contractor versus a commission-based, working at a commission-based salon.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that explanation. But I have a real quick question for you guys, and I want both of you to tackle this. What do you think about those stylists that say, I don't want to be in a commission structure salon. That salon owner is going to take all my money. Now, I've heard that a lot, and I'm sure you guys have heard that a lot, or have heard that in your career. Michelle, you worked on, commission for a very long time. I know I've worked on commission my first 4 years in the industry, and then I went directly into a booth rental situation. So what do you guys think about that? Michelle?
Yeah, so owners aren't thieves, first of all. Okay. Owners really, really care about their staff, about their business, about all the little things that help grow other people. But I think sometimes stylists kind of get a little distracted by I just got out of school and I don't know anyone and I'm not making any money and I'm not marketing myself and I'm not learning new things, but it's someone else's fault. I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, in a salon, you don't have someone bearing down that accountability on you like you do when you rent a place. You know, when you're renting, it's like about you. You have to do it, or it's sink or swim. You know, like you don't get a choice whether or not you want to spend all week like doing the marketing in your social media or whatever. You have to, or you're not going to pay your bills next week. You know, like you don't have, I feel like depending on whether you're a stressed out person or really anxious or whatever, like that can definitely like be a real weight. Where like in a commission-based salon, you know, part of your commission is really paying all of those things. I mean, I gotta say most owners aren't, you know, riding the piggy bank all the way to Mexico. You know what I mean? They're the ones spending extra hours every day of their life. They're doing 60 or 70 hour weeks so that you can go to the playground with your little kids, so that you can, you know, have the picnics and the lifestyle that you want based on like not taking on all that extra responsibility. Where if you're in a booth rental situation, you might have to be like, I'm sorry, I can't make it to that. I got to take care of these things because the numbers are coming at the end of the day. You know, like if you're not really mindful of those things as a booth renter or a suite owner, then you're going to suffer a little bit.
I definitely agree with that. But Michelle, I just was listening to you. I was thinking about what are you being a salon owner? And before the call, we were talking about all the people that you have working in your salon. Do you stress, because of course they are your employee, correct? Mm-hmm. They're not just independent contractors.
No.
Okay. So what is your take on the fact that they're still their own brand, even though they're in the realms of your salon? Is that a little tricky, or how does that work for you?
I feel like there's enough people in the world that everyone can be as busy as they want to be if they're going to put the effort in and the time. And it doesn't matter where you work or who you work for, whether it's yourself or someone else. If you're not going to put the time and the effort in on your own, you're just going to kind of float through with whatever you're okay with receiving. You know, I mean, all the successful people I know, regardless of where they work or what they do, they've put the hours into their education. They've put the hours into their personal development. They've put the time into practice and really refine themselves. I mean, you can have a room full of people who are employees, but if they don't care about themselves enough to work hard for you, then they're just going to be average people anyway. I mean, I don't want to discount that or like make it sound bad, because you know what, some people are really happy living their extra like ordinary life. But I mean, most of the time, like if you're going to really get out there and you're going to learn and you're going to refine your craft, you're going to find that group of humans in the world that really, really are for you, that are going to build you a brand that's your own. And, you know, it really, like, my commission structure is in a way that I want them to be individual enough that they're going to grow themselves. I mean, my commission structure is pretty solid in that, like, you know, if you're really growing and building your business and using the tools that we give to you, you're going to make more money or as much money as you would doing your own thing. You know, I think this job's hard enough without like having a bunch of senior stylists roaming around the back room bitching about like how they're not busy today, when in fact, like if they got to keep more of their money, they'd probably work harder anyway.
You know, I always said, you know, when people go to the back of my salon, I'm like, it's not a good thing when hairstylists are sitting in the back of the salon talking.
With commission, you know, that varies depending upon how much money you're bringing in, how many clients you're doing. It's up to you to bring in your clientele, marketing yourself, as well as the salon that you're working at, because the person at the front desk is the person who basically schedules the appointments for you. So I'm not. This is funny, but you have to have a good relationship with her as well, because she helps determine sometimes the booking of the clients. If there isn't a real system, it's usually a hierarchy system. Who's ever been there the longest, they get the clients, and then it'll go down to who's the lowest on the totem pole gets the remainder of the people that are calling in. So your money varies to me in a commission-based salon. Whereas if you booth renter, it's up to you totally with your marketing. You hold all the responsibility. So basically, you are the one that makes sure that you're getting a clientele. So you have to be responsible and disciplined in order to make that happen. And now that I've said all of that, to me, it balances out just depending on the person and your drive and your motivation, and how hard you work at your craft, and the education that you put into it, to learn different techniques, how to engage with clients. It's all works together synergetically, and that's how you determine how much money you make based on a commission salon. As a booth renter too, you can basically make the same amount.
Commission-based salon employee versus a booth renter. So in a commission-based salon, you're going to have someone writing you a paycheck every week. You're going to get a W-2 at the end of the year. You're not going to be doing purchase orders. You're not going to be doing color orders or inventory or scheduling your own appointments, but you are still going to be personally responsible for developing some kind of part of your own ownership of your chair that builds you a clientele. And you're going to need to do that first before you end up in a place where you're booth renting, because if you're booth renting, then you're paying your own rent. You need a consistent amount of business behind the chair in order to generate the revenue you need to pay those extra bills, to buy your own product, to pay your own taxes, to make sure that you're doing the things that need to be accountable financially. So when I was in a commission-based salon, that was really great because I got my paycheck every week. I was guaranteed a wage. My taxes were taken care of. I didn't have to worry about any of those things. I just had to show up, do my work, do a good job, and then get my paycheck every week. So over time, working in a commission-based salon that has a commission cap, there's no growing room or flexibility there. I think that's where most commission-based stylists either get frustrated or start to lose interest in the person who helped build their business, because they are making the same commission over the last 5 or 10 years and the growing has ceased. And so I think that when you get to that kind of position in a commission-based salon, it's really easy to learn your numbers, see if you can cut costs somewhere, keep your overhead low, and then move into a booth rental place where you're probably maybe still paying yourself the same commission, but you're watching your savings grow because you don't have the 10-person overhead that salon did. And so I think as an individual in a booth rental situation, there is a great opportunity to make a lot of money if you can have the discipline to micromanage the details of that responsibly and really be successful at it.
think every hairstylist should start off in the commission structure salon right out of school. The only way I feel like a stylist should not start off in a commission structure salon is if they're either, say 18 or 19, they have the support of their family and they can pay the booth rent every week as they're building their clientele, and or if they have a significant other, a partner that they're being supported by. Those are kind of some aspects I think that a stylist maybe shouldn't or could try to start off as an independent contractor. Because I feel like a lot of, especially over the recent happenings in the world in 2020, I've heard of some salon owners lose stylists over this period of time. Sounds like, Michelle, you're not having that situation, but there are a lot of salons, even a lot of groups that I was in over the quarantine and the shutdown. A lot of stylists were either talking about going to get a she shed, which I had never heard of. And also, a lot of stylists were talking about leaving their salon. And I was like, wow, what a crucial time to leave your salon owner, especially if they have been good to you, been helping you build your clientele. But as far as marketing, I feel like in a commission structure salon, hairstylists not only should the salon owner market, but you should be marketing yourself. You should be marketing, as much as you can. Now, I built my clientele back in the day, right? So I was doing snail mail postcards. I mailed out thank you postcards. I mailed out birthday postcards. I mailed out anything that I was going to give like a percentage off referrals. And so I feel like now it's so much easier for a stylist in commission structure salon or a booth rental salon to market themselves, because you have social media now. So you don't have to put a stamp on anything. You can develop a clientele list, or not for a commission structure salon, because the salon is going to have that clientele list where they have total advantage of. But especially an independent contractor, I feel like, especially over this period of time, I think a lot of people did not work. We always work in our business, but we don't always work on our business. And over this period of time, it took a lot of hairstylists started to work on their business. So they started the email marketing, which they had never done. They built a website, which they had never had. They were always communicating with their clients through social media. So I think marketing is a huge part for a commission structure as well as a booth rent. What do you think about that, Aaliyah?
I agree with you totally. Like you said, we basically have free advertisement now. So there is no reason why you cannot market yourself. I don't think that you should solely depend on the person, the owner of a commission-based salon, to do everything for you. Yes, they should do some because you are giving them a percentage of your money. But if you really want to grow and be successful in the business, you have to do what it takes as well. And with technology, there are so many different ways that you can do it now. I mean, you have YouTube, you can do videos, you can, of course, Instagram, Facebook. There's just so many different apps out now. So there's a lot of different ways that you can market yourself too. And like I said, it just depends on the person and their motivation and what they really want and how successful they want to be. Yeah.
What are you doing right now to market yourself, since you are in a commission structure salon and you have been in the industry for quite some years now? So do you feel like you kind of shifted with the market and the industry as far as social media is concerned? Are you still working on it? Have you mastered it? What are you doing?
I am from the old school where a lot of the times we had our work spoke for itself. People would see you walking down the street and say, "Who did your hair?" And so now integrating into technology, I've had to, basically push myself to do these things because I'm working with millennials who every 5 seconds is snapping a picture. Oh, let me get a picture. Let me do this. I'm on video. And they're so comfortable with it where, me, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What do I have on? Look at, don't take a picture of me. Just take, so it was, trying to get out of that comfort zone of how it used to be. And so now I am really learning a lot of different things of using my computer. I just built a website for myself to market myself as Aaliyah the hair healer.
As far as like real marketing in my salon goes, when I was a booth renter, my software that I was using did a great job of providing me that kind of platform. So really all I had to do was pay a little bit of extra money, create a deal of sorts, and they would advertise it to their internet structure. As a salon owner, the marketing tools that I use and provide in my salon are referral cards. We also give all the staff the same calendar for themselves that we use as a business to create content and posts, and they are welcome to do that themselves, and they should. I mean, realistically, they really should. They're going to have a reach of their own to their people if they do that, but I think sometimes they just don't want to do the effort. We also, in my salon, we have a Google Ads campaign that we run continuously. We sponsor some of our ads on Facebook, and that helps grow the reach. I mean, these things that are out there, they work if you use them and if you pay for them and you put the work into them. And I think that a lot of times they don't. Also, as a salon owner, I love that kind of stuff. I grew up in the photo shoot era, we got to have our work published in magazines, and, you didn't have Instagram to make you famous. And so we had to do it old school, like a real camera, so I loved that part of the business, it was super cool for me to work in a commission salon that provided those kinds of experiences for me as a young person, that I really wanted to make sure that I could kind of recreate that in my own salon. And so, they have all the tools they need. They have a full light setup. We're using it right now. They got a green screen, they got a white screen, they got a black screen, they got professional lights, and all they have to do is take a picture. You have to create content that's yours, that's real, that speaks to the people that you really want to do business with, and then you actually have to do the work.
Do you, Michelle, give your stylists the room to have their own social media pages, or do you recommend that they just function off of the one social media page? How does that work for you?
No, actually, so the salon has a social media page, and we do actually take the time to kind of feature each young lady on their own. But I think that as individual as a person is, they should either use their personal page for more good, not bashing baby daddies or spilling all of their life content into the world, but more using it as a tool for themselves to create the kind of brand that they want to be. I think that it's okay for every staff member to have their own individual page.
How does that work in your salon, Aaliyah, as far as the Instagram and the social media?
So we do have a business page for Studio SLK, and we take our individual stylists take pictures of their work, and we also have our own pages, which I feel gives you more freedom to express who you are as an individual and brand yourself too, as your own entity, who you are. But I do like the fact that we do have a business page, because some of our clients are basically Studio SLK clients. So they follow Studio SLK. So that's how you are, they are able to see your work. And that's how you can market yourself, and they see, what styles you do and how well, you do hair. And that gives them that determines whether or not they will try you as a stylist. So I think as a business aspect, it's very, I think it's a good thing, a good business tool to have a salon social media page as well as your own, because as Michelle was saying, as long as you keep it professional.
I think commission stylists should pay their dues, and they have to sit. You can't go to the mall, and you can't, because what if a walk-in comes in, or if the salon owner really needs you for something and you're out, at Chipotle for 2 hours.
Yes.
So I really feel like commission versus booth rent, sometimes commission hairstylists have that all wrong. The time freedom and their discipline. Like you said earlier, I think it was you, Aaliyah, you said that commission is beneficial because they have to be disciplined and they have to follow some type of time schedule. Mm-hmm. So let's speak on that for a few minutes.
The salon I'm at, she doesn't really reinforce that, but I know, being in a commission-based salon through experience, that works the best. Because like you said, if you sit there and take it as a 9 to 5 and stay there, like you said, you may get a walk-in, or just showing that you want to cooperate and help the salon work, efficiently. That helps you too after you get out of a commission-based salon. So you own your own business, you'll have those tools because you started off, as a commission stylist, and making sure that you do all of these things. I think that it's very important to really be disciplined, because you are going to do what it takes because you're making money. And if you know you're not doing it, then you're not going to make money. In a commission-based salon, you have a little bit more freedom, so you can think that your money will be based on what the salon brings in, but it's also up to you to bring in the money. So I do think that provides discipline and understanding of how you really make money in this business. Like you said, you can't just be thinking everything is free, or you don't have any responsibilities if you're not working. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can go to the mall, I can do this. Basically, how you gonna have money to go to the mall and do all of those things if you're not working? So you have to make a commitment on your days that you are scheduled to work, if you don't even have anyone, because I've had that happen, and I'm bummed out that I gotta sit there. But a lot of times I will take upon myself to help, in the salon, answer the phones if I need to, or just, and if the salon owner sees that in you, they are willing to help you more, because they see that you are working together as a team as opposed to just thinking of yourself, because a commission-based salon is really a team effort.
Right. And I really feel like, as a new hairstylist, especially when you're sitting, like, nobody should be sitting. Like, you don't have time to sit. As long as other hairstylists are working,
right?
The hips, the chair should not be warm unless it's a client sitting in the chair. Because you can sweep, you can fold towels, you can help another stylist, you can watch another hairstylist, you can rent someone out, you can apply some color, you can work as an assistant. You might not be getting paid as an assistant, but it's benefiting you more than it is anybody else, because you're still learning. So it's kind of like education as you go.
Yeah.
Without sitting in a class.
Exactly.
What do you think about that, Michelle?
So I couldn't agree more. I got to say that the commission stylists that work in my salon, that hang out in the corner, in the back, in their phone, they aren't as busy as they could be, because they're spending their time not participating in what's actually going on in the building. I think that as a commission stylist, there's this false sense of like, these are your hours, I'll just go and I'll do my work, or I'll sit there and I'll get paid. Like, so in Ohio, especially, I don't know if it's different for other states, but, as an employer in a commission salon, you have to guarantee them a wage. So everyone in the building gets paid, whether they're doing customers or they're not doing customers. The difference is that wage is only going to cover your hours. It's not going to cover your effort. And so I think sometimes, as like commission stylists who maybe 1 or 2 years in, they start to get this idea that they should be busier, but they don't want to do the work. They're getting really comfortable kind of watching the flow of the salon. They're getting cozy, not answering the phone or not having to have those responsibilities anymore, but they're not practicing. They're not, we train people how to do hair extensions in our salon. And so if you want to really build that business, then you need to be there with a mannequin, like doing something, starting that conversation or that talking point, like, oh, what's going on over there? Or what's she doing? Or providing that knowledge to another stylist, or, helping out like the other departments in the salon, where like as a booth renter, you sometimes are a lot more isolated, or you're by yourself, like you're in a little room that feels like a basement closet because there's no windows, or, whatever, and you're not busy. So you're either working on your marketing, or you're cleaning your space, or you're, doing the business of doing business. And so those extra things that sometimes take you more time can really help grow your business, the same way as if you're getting paid to sit there and you're spending your time wisely. I have not met a hustling hairdresser that's not busy.
Most commission structure stylists, if they're working in a salon, the salon owner is basically in charge of the education. However, they are responsible for, going outside of the salon to get education, especially, at hair shows. And then the booth rental stylist is totally responsible for the education. So I feel like the more education, the more you become, you're really in a position to put yourself so that you're at a higher paying level than a lot of stylists. Because, unless you want to be a mediocre stylist based on someone who's really involved, like Aaliyah, you said you rebranded yourself, and so now you're learning, you're educating yourself, so you're taking it upon yourself, but you work in a commission structure salon. What do you think about that?
Well, since, the change has happened in the world with the pandemic, there aren't any classes really, except now they're doing video classes, which I think is really great, because there are so many different ones that, behind the chair, they're always featuring classes. So it's more up to us now than as opposed to the salon owner to continually get education in the salon I'm in. So because we're not able to have people come to the shop to have education classes, but I do see that it's very beneficial to the stylist to continue education, because that's how you fine-tune your craft. That's how you make more money, because you're learning, you're advancing, always learning different techniques, and clients see that, and it shows in your work. So the more education you get, the more knowledge you have, the more your money grows. That just makes sense.
So education, I feel like you should just be into that. Whether you're new or old or whatever, like if you aren't growing yourself, your mind, your health, your wealth, you better find somebody who knows. Like always. In salons, a lot of times they'll give you some of that. They'll teach you, they'll provide some of that for you. But I think for a lot of stylists, it's really easy to get comfortable there. I was always like if I don't know how to do this, I'm going to go find out. Like Aaliyah said, I can remember being a brand new hairdresser and be like, I don't know how to deal with this hair, but I'm going to figure it out. I remember going to the library and like digging out books and like figuring out like, how do I do this hair? Or what do you do to take care of it? Like it wasn't like my hair. So I just would learn. And then when I felt like I didn't know how to do haircuts, now it's so cool. Like you can go to all these different places, behind the chair, Hairbrained, anywhere. And everything is online now. Like you could sit there for a whole day. I watch these videos of these hairdressers watching people do their hair, and that's educational too. When it boils down to it, like there's so many ways to learn. Like there's no excuse to not grow. I think in a salon, it's really easy. Somebody's going to tell you, take this, do that, do this, do that. Whereas a booth renter or an independent, you are going to get to choose. I mean, that's kind of how I ended up in my education position, is I got the choice to say, I'm going to go pay for this education and do it myself. And aside from whether my salon benefit or not, I'm going to do that for me. And as a booth runner, you're going to keep doing that. You're going to really kind of refine like what your niche is. I think so. Like, I mean, I have friends that I've watched them, like, especially just on the like tail of hair loss, where like they started out as like cosmetologists, and then they went and did trichology, and then they started building wigs, and then, you know, and then they built a huge successful independent business for themselves that way. And I think that as long as you're going to be like personally invested in yourself all the time, whether or not somebody's going to help you do that or not, you're going to have a more successful career.
Are there any final advice that you would leave our listening audience with? Anybody want to go?
Be patient with yourself. Definitely. You know, it's easy, I think, sometimes to look at other people and see like what they're doing and like get into that mindset of like thinking we're all the same, but we're not. And I mean, like, doing beauty business is like as individual as the person you're working on or the person next to you. And a walk through the grocery store will show you that we're not all made the same. And so we shouldn't get like tied into like we have to be a certain way because someone said so. You know, like working in a commission-based salon for as long as I did, I learned about myself when I moved to booth rentals that I had measured up to what they told me I was going to be, versus like taking that and making it my decision to be my best me. And so I think that realistically, like, just keep learning, keep trying. Failure's learning too. It's not always going to work out the way you want the first time or the second time or the 26th time, but if you keep trying, listening, I think that's huge. Like, being able to really pay attention to a person, that like what they're saying and how they're reacting, to create an experience for them that's going to exceed their expectations enough that they want to come back to you and value you as a professional that's really going to help them meet their like personal care goals. I mean, make sure that that conversation is always about them and never about you. I mean, the truth is, like, a lot of my customers don't know a thing in the world about me, short of I do great hair and I like to do some like kayaking and backpacking once in a while, but that's it. They don't know about my husband. They don't know about my kids. They don't know about my personal life or any of those things. It's very much always about them. And if you don't know how to do that, learn, get a book, like how to talk to people better, how to read people better, go to classrooms. Everything is online. Oh my gosh, I've had the most awesome educational experiences and like opportunities since things are a little more virtual, and I'm learning that and like really getting connected with it. I took a whole 8-hour hands-on course on a Zoom, and it was so neat. Like, it was not that bad, but you have to really commit to the time and like do that for yourself to be a better person and a better hairdresser. And I just love this. I think everybody should love the beauty industry as much as I do. For me, I remember being in that big giant salon, and for all the years that I worked there, like the amazing opportunities I got to enjoy. Literally, like, I was 19 years old on a plane, like jet setting to New York City. Like, that was my Midwest girl's like end all be all dream. And I was just a kid. And so now I'm like, oh, I really should have set my bar a lot higher. But, you know, for me at the time, that was the coolest thing ever. And I can remember I built a really successful business here because of all the things I was taught to do in that salon and all the things that really were gifts to me. And so that really allowed me to be able to go into a booth rental space, be successful enough at that to save enough money to build a salon with cash and grit, and do that for other kids like all over my city.
That's cool. What about you? What advice can you leave our listening audience with, Aaliyah?
Well, what I want to piggyback on what Michelle was saying, because when I first started in the industry, I was extremely frightened. I was always worried about what other people thought about me or what I was doing. So I would really suggest that you really, whatever career you do, but believe in yourself and believe in what you have to offer, and know that you are, like Michelle said, going to make mistakes, but that's part of the learning and growing and becoming the best you that you can be. Also, continually educate yourself, learning the business aspect of hairstyling, because that's really how you make money. You can be creative all day, you can be the best, but if you don't have the business aspect of it, that can really determine your success or non-success.
Yeah.
So I would say, I would definitely suggest that you learn the business aspect of the hair industry.
Yeah.
Also, just branding yourself and learning, what you're most passionate about in this business, and fine-tuning those skills so it sets you apart from someone else. That really is important. I've learned over the years, because you have people who just are colorists or specialize in just different areas, and that has helped them as well. So there's just so many different things that you can do in this business, but you just have to make sure that you like I said, educated yourself and you know what you really want to do. And those are the things.
Yeah. And I always say talent is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
But personality and confidence is more important than anything, because you can be talented and know how to color and cut some hair, but have the worst attitude. You might do a client once, but will she return? And you have a young lady with confidence and personality that is mediocre or just a little bit less talented with cutting and color, they're going to have more clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because talent is just not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Being nice is way more important than being good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah. So I want to thank you guys for jumping on here today. I know this was very colorful.
It was
Yeah. But we did get through it, and I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it, and just learning. I learned a lot from when I was a little girl. My brother, I don't know if you remember my brother Leah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so he used to always tell me, I used to stare at people all the time. I'm very inquisitive, and so we used to be on the bus because we didn't have a car when I was a little girl. And I grew up in a single family home, and my mom would be on the bus and I'll be sitting on the front of the bus just people watching. I still do it today. So people's stories are really intriguing to me. Just listening to you, Michelle, about your salon and the unique way of, it's almost like a training center and a salon all in one. And you don't really get that a lot nowadays. It's like when they come in, it's kind of like every man for himself when it comes to salon owners sometimes, because I'm sure over the quarantine you kept in touch with your stylists, you communicated with them, you probably had Zooms with them, just to keep them encouraged, because none of us knew what was going on, how many weeks we would be off. So I just want to thank you guys. And then Leah, your story is very creative and unique, because you left Chicago, went to Atlanta, and I was shocked. I said, wow, she's back. I remember when you came back to Chicago, you're back in Chicago. So definitely, we have to connect here in Chicago. So I will definitely keep in touch with you. And
Thank you.
all right, see you later. See you.
Thank you.